Hello guys, welcome to the channel. It's TPM5 with another NBA video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about the Brooklyn Nets signing veteran guard Goran Dragic out of the buyout market. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, as you guys know, Goran Dragic is a point guard and he's played numerous years in the league. Now, Steve Nash is credited with being the one that brought him to Brooklyn, as they met only yesterday. And it seems like the two that played together back in Phoenix for around 150 games struck a chord and were able to make an agreement. Now, we all know the circumstances that are surrounding Brooklyn, with Kyrie Irving not fulfilling the league's vaccine mandate and thus is only able to play in certain games. This move will give them a viable point guard who's had a lot of playoff experience, including the 2020 finals in the bubble, to fill in that role for the Nets. He's a career 14-point per game, 5-assist player, shooting 36% from three and 50% from the floor overall over the course of his veteran career. Now, the Nets have got quite a bit of depth in their team, so if Kyrie Irving manages to fulfill the mandate, it looks kind of like unlikely he'll be playing a large sum of minutes. However, you never know how Steve Nash might value the veteran play of the point guard, given that he's the one that went out of his way to try and recruit him to the team. So that's one thing to be considered. Now, this move does help the Brooklyn Nets round out their roster. As you know, they added Ben Simmons and he'll be playing the five, and that'll be for him. Obviously he can't shoot, so maybe they can put him at center and that can kind of hide some of his issues he has. Getting Dragic gives them a viable point guard option if Curry isn't available to play to close games, given Simmons' issues. We know Simmons is a great playmaker and defender. However, it looks likely in clutch time situations they'll be shifting him to positions where shooting isn't as much of a focus. And just looking at it from the other perspective too, the Nets have always been a pretty decent offense. They did just trade away Harden, but they kind of are getting a fraction of what Harden does back in this deal or this move. And then obviously have Ben Simmons, who's helping their defense, something that they've needed for quite some time, and obviously has been a talking point given that they were always able to outscore teams, but it was if all three of those guys were on. This whole Brooklyn Nets situation is really interesting given what could have been and stuff like that. Goran Dragic has a reputation around the league as being a really good leader. He's someone that will come into this team and add experience to what they already have, and he's someone who's pretty good in the playoffs. When you look at it, his career stats in the playoffs are 15 points, 4 rebounds across 27 minutes per game on 35% shooting from three. So obviously a slight dip from what he would do in the regular season, but obviously that comes with the pressures of the playoffs and stuff. Now, the Brooklyn Nets did waive Javon Carter, which is who they picked up in the Landry Shamet trade during the offseason. He played with some intensity and some effort, but Goran Dragic is an undoubted upgrade, and given how and where this Nets team is on the contention spectrum, I think this is the right move for them to be making. Another thing to mention as well is that he can be a secondary shot creator, when KD or Kyrie isn't there, or even Simmons, he can really step up into that role. I think the fact that he hasn't played much this season has kind of really, blinded people to how good he was. He was averaging 19 points per game in the NBA Finals before he suffered that plantar fascia injury, which really kind of derailed the next year or so of his career. Now, he did play 8 games this season in Toronto, only averaging 8 points and 2 assists in limited minutes. Obviously, that wasn't a good circumstance, and given how far we've come, at once it looked like he wasn't going to be able to leave, and now he's able to leave and he's joined the contender. It's a win-win kind of move for this team. Now, the Lakers, the Bucks, and even the Clippers will be pretty disappointed with not being able to get Dragic, especially the Lakers, who are in desperate need of making moves. I did just make a video about Gary Harris with them, so if you want to check that out, feel free to. Nice plug. And also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also comment what you think. This is a pretty good move. I want to hear what you guys think. Some Nets fans, what you guys think. And yeah, without anything more to say, let's end the video. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.